So I want to first start off with asking the audience, how many of you have gotten someone that called you and said, "Hi, would you like to donate money to, blah, 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 organization," and you hung up on them? Show of hands. I have two. So basically, that's kind of the purpose of my talk today is to talk about my job, actually. So recently, I found my job, and I got referred to it from a family friend. She works at Chapman, but she referred me to this job called Student Phone-a-thon, and I asked her, "What is that about?" And she says, "Oh, it's really good. It'd be good for, you and your major, since you are a TV and broadcast journalism major." That's what I am. And she said, basically, you just call people, you ask them to donate. They're so nice. They give money all the time, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, okay, everything's thrown in the bag. So I apply, I get the interview, and I go in, and they're so nice. They, love the way I'm speaking, blah, blah, blah. I'm feeling good. And then they asked me a question that really stuck with me. And they said, "Are you comfortable with asking people for $1,000? And in my head, I'm saying, no, I'm not. Who goes up to someone and says, "Hi, my name is Courtney Bankhead. Can I ask you for $1,000? Thank you so much." No, I wasn't comfortable. But obviously I lied because I want the job. And I said, of course I am. I'm used to fundraising for organizations and clubs and things like that back in high school. So I said yes. So things went well. I ended up getting the job. And so I walk in my first day at the job, and my little name is written in my cubicle, Courtney Bankhead, and it was a good day. So I walk in and I sit down, and I'm looking around, and all I see are scripts everywhere. I just see scripts, and basically they tell us exactly what to say in exactly the right situation, and there are overcoming objections. So if we call someone and they say they don't want to donate, we have a little paragraph of exactly what to say just for that situation. And so I'm thinking to myself, am I a robot? And I'm thinking, how come we can't just naturally talk? I mean, I thought I was just going to walk in, conversate with a few alumni, network, get to know them, and then ask them to donate. But that wasn't the way it worked out. And then the girl that trained me, good friend of mine, says, "You know what, everyone raises so much money, it's so simple, blah, blah, blah." But I look up at a graph of who has raised the most money and who hasn't, and returners who have had the job have raised little money, whereas there are new people such as myself that have raised a ton of money. And that's where I lead into the whole question of, how are some callers more successful than others? So I did some research on this, and I was really, influenced at, how are some callers more successful than others? And I looked around at, the other workers there, and I noticed that they were all reading their scripts, and everything was so linear, and there was no kind of natural voice coming from them. It was all from a paper like this. For example, on this paper, there are tips for rejections. They have something that says, so they give us an example of something that, an alumni or a parent of a Chapman student would say. And a parent would say, "I don't know if I can give this year. I've had a lot of medical problems recently, and I have a new baby. I don't think I could give even a penny." And they want us to say something like, "Oh, ma'am, I completely understand. However, other prospects that we were calling tonight have donated $100. Do you think you could support us with that tonight?" No, that didn't work out for me. I felt frustrated. So my experiment with this was, I said, I'm going to get rid of the script. I'm just going to, run off of me and how I talk. And if it's awkward, it's awkward. And if it's not, it's not. And that's what led me to one of the most life-changing calls that I've ever received. And so one night I called this lady. We were calling parent parent donors that night. So I called a parent of a Chapman student, and I'm looking at it and I say, "Hi, ma'am. My name is Courtney Bankhead. I'm a student calling from Chapman University. How are you doing tonight?" And she says, "Oh, Courtney, is that your name?" And I say, "Yes, ma'am, it is." And she says, "You know what? I've been wanting to donate. Let me tell you something." And she goes off to say that she's been in the hospital for 4 years with cancer, and she couldn't donate. She was scared that she wouldn't see her son graduate because of how ill she got to a point. She was saying that her son is, the smartest person she knows, and really putting him up. And I started to cry. She sounded like a beautiful lady. And then she ends off with, "Honey, I'm so sorry. I really can't donate at this time. I'm still trying to pay off some debt, and I'm still trying to, pay off all my medical debt, and I'm also paying for my son's Chapman tuition. But thank you so much for the call." Now, if this was what I would do with the script, I would say, "Oh, okay, ma'am, I completely understand that you can't donate. However, we've talked to people that are in the exact same situation as you tonight, and they've been able to donate $50. Do you think you could support us with that tonight?" But I didn't. That was how you were supposed to say it. But I ended up, and I said, "Honestly, ma'am, I completely understand. It was so awesome talking to you tonight. Have a great rest of your night." And I hung up, and that was it, blah, blah, blah. And I looked around at me because I was scared that my supervisor was going to tell me, that's not how you're supposed to do it. But my supervisor was clapping my back, and she was saying, "Good job, you handled that phone call very well." So after that night, I felt influenced to get rid of the script altogether. And now I have raised the most money in my student phone-a-thon team. I have raised over $4,877, and all without the script, all without the overcoming objections, all without being a robot, actually. And that's kind of something that leads me into, with the phone-a-thon callers that I work with, but also as people, we don't always have that script that's there for us. Nothing is formulated, nothing is linear. When we meet people, we meet people. When we converse, we converse. There isn't a perfect way to meet someone. I met one of my best friends till this day. I've known her for 6 years now. We always walked the same path home from school. And I just went up to her and said, "Hey, we walked the same path home from school. Can we be friends?" I don't know. And it was awkward. It was awkward and it was uncomfortable, but now we're best friends. And I wouldn't have a script that said how to talk to someone if you are meeting them for the first time and you're walking home from school. So whether you're crazy or you're ditzy, or you just act the way you are, and it's real, and it may be uncomfortable, it may be awkward, but that's just how you're supposed to do it. There is no script in life, You just go through and you roll with the punches. And I can thank all of this because of my job, because my job has showed me to be the person that I am. Don't let something or someone else run my life. So I think that for my phone-a-thon job, and my phone-a-thon job taught me how to not be a robot. Thank you.